Hello everyone, my name is Anik, you can just call me Nick, and in today's video we're going to be focusing on AI apps, specifically AI tools that you can make apps with. And so let's just jump right into the video. So I basically prompted Gemini to basically create an app called Focus Flow. Now Focus Flow, I told it specifically make a description of this app, and basically Focus Flow is, like it says it's a visual shield, and it basically declutters all the mess that you usually see in Salesforce, Jira, or Microsoft Excel, and it kind of condenses it down into one website where the process of having a workspace that is distractionless, specifically distractionless, without any distractions, without any problems at all, um, is this app, right? Is this app called Focus Flow? That's what we basically made. So it made this little diagram, which I like. It shows that it has zero clutter, right? So we're just trying to make it as simple as possible for people who don't really use the internet, or sorry, like don't really use technological apps that well, or are not too familiar with certain apps, and are overwhelmed by too many tabs, alerts, pop-ups, and any other problems or issues, or um, alerts or anything like that that may occur when someone is using an app, for example, like Microsoft Excel. So the whole purpose of is making this app called Focus Flow as uh, easy to use as possible for people who are not so familiar with technology. So as you can see here, when a user logs into Focus Flow, they're greeted by a blank interface that basically makes it very easy to understand. Okay, this is very simple website. There's not many things going on with it. They're not gonna see any sidebars. They're not gonna see any flashing notifications, nothing like that. No ad popping up. I know ads is like something that triggers me specifically. It makes me extremely upset when I see lots of ads coming on to the website, or any pop-ups. Those are very upsetting. And then the website only displays one single task, one clear input box, and one action button at a time. So it's just making it very easy to use for people who are not very experienced with technology in general. So I prompted these AI models and AI tools, specifically number one, and this is the AI tool that took the least amount of time, which was Claude. Now Claude, it made a very simple app right here. I literally took the description. Look, for all of these, I literally took the description of what Gemini had said, and I just put it into the AI tool. And the first tool to win, and in terms of time, was Claude. And Claude literally made this within like 30 seconds. It took no time at all. And as you can see, this is what it made from. This is literally it from Claude. Now Claude, as you can see here, if I go back, oh, it looks like the back button doesn't even work. So I guess we gotta ask Claude to change that up. But it tells you a lot of information. This is very basic screen, so I think we kind of like this. They even give you a little feature right here, easier to read font, so we can turn that on and off. Extra spacing, right, if we want that. Reduce the motion, so there's something that's moving right here, we can reduce the motion of that. And then there's high contrast, so we can change the contrast of it, which is pretty cool. And so here's the SLA status, and if you don't know what SLA is, it's a service level agreement. So this is like a customer service type of system. So now you can change it to whatever fits your needs and whatever productivity tool that you want to create. But in this case, we just kind of made this is what Claude made, and we'll just put on track as the SLA status, and then we're going to save work and click next. And then look, it's very easy to use. You can see that it's asking for the street portion, so we can just put 128 Maple Avenue. I don't know, that's probably some random avenue that we're not too familiar with. And then what is this? Oh look, you can see how it looks in the system. So you can see that in the system it put mailing street as this, and if you go back, you can see that the SLA status looks something like this. So it kind of gives you an overview of what the system kind of looks like, the case detail specifically. And then let me just put Maple Avenue, and then you can see that it saves it as a mailing street. And then the phone number, we'll just put 123 456 7890, and you can see it even says like the specific format that it wants, so we'll just follow the format. So overall, this app, as you can see, it's very easy to use, I'd say. I mean, for someone who's not too familiar with technology or anything like that, I'd say it's pretty easy to use, pretty understandable. In terms of distractions, there's nothing really distracting. You can even remove the display settings, which is perfect, right? If you don't want to see that at all. There's a lot of instructions that they give us, right? Add a note about this call notes, so it's very easy to understand. You even see an overview of where you can put it, right? The information, so that's good. So customer, let's put test and save work, and then look, this is what it made for us, right? A very overview of what we've just saved into the system. This is the customer record, with some arbitrary name that we made up, and then nice work, everything's saved, and it even gave us a little not a reminder but an update of what we've got in the system, the record. And so this is cool, and then we can start a new task. So overall, I really like what Claude made with this description that we took from Gemini. It's very easy to use. The icons are pretty self-explanatory, and navigating specifically is self-explanatory. There's high contrast. There's a settings, a very simple settings bar that anyone can use with, even if they don't have that much background in technology. Now, if we look at focus flow, you can see that this is using Lovable. Now, this is the first app was Claude.ai. Now, Lovable is lovable.dev. I'm pretty sure, right? Lovable.dev. If you go to lovable.dev, you'll see this. Specifically, you will have to log in, and then you'll see this. And then I just copy and pasted the same prompt, and this is what it kind of created for us. So let's actually see what it does. So at the very top, it created a very simple website. I don't really like how it's you have to actually create a trial for this stuff to work. Yeah, I don't really like that. I understand where Lovable is trying to get at. They're trying to make this app that I proposed a subscription type of app, but in the description I never mentioned anything about subscription. So I guess it just created it for us. Now let's view the demo, and this is what it kind of looks like from the demo perspective. So I think I like this, right? Task 1 of 3, confirm the hours you worked yesterday. So we can just put 7.5. It looks like there's also, you can adjust the looks. So this is similar to Claude. You can even adjust the looks, increase the spacing or high contrast, which is pretty cool for people who really need that, the extra help from dyslexic font, if they need the increased spacing or the high contrast. Now we're gonna save my hours, and then look, it's pretty big. The font is pretty big, and we just put customer emails. So we'll just finish this survey up, and there we go. So this is what it's kind of concluded, all done. Nothing else needs your attention today. So I really like how it kind of made it very simple for the user to navigate. They even have this kind of settings bar, I'd say, that's you can adjust at any time, which is pretty cool. And then you can even begin the trial, which is, I guess I understand what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to market this for people who need it the most and then try to get their money. But yeah, this is not bad. I don't know if this entire website is necessary, but it's still a great website. You can still sign in, and then yeah, so that's pretty nice. Now, if you want to create something similar to this, or if you want to create a productivity app, whether that's tracking calories, maybe tracking the amount of hours you slept. You can also do that too. Now we're gonna go on to Base44, which is another app. It's just literally called base44.com right here. Now base44.com, if you go on here, you have to log in as well. And once you log in, I literally put the same description as the other ones from Gemini, and this is what it made. Focus flow. I like how it's the font is pretty nice. It even created this little thing right here, my work finished comfort. So that's pretty cool. So we can, this is like the settings pretty much. We can change the font. So I like this. This is nice. This, I'm pretty sure Base44 was like the second to third app to finish when I gave all these the same prompt at the same time. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty quick. We can make the font extra large, which is good for people who need it the most. And then update the customer's address. So that's cool. We can just update it right here. So we'll just put Maria A. Not sure who that is. We'll put 14 Willow Street. And then sure, we can put Bristol. And then best phone number, we'll just put some random number. And then call after 5 p.m. So this is like kind of a tracker of like tasks. So we just completed the Salesforce, and then we've confirmed a meeting time with the team. So that was pretty cool. And then we can even do some other stuff with Jira and Excel. So I really like how Base44 kind of made the layout, and look how when you hover your mouse over this, it just pops up like this. It pops up at you. So you can add that for the other ones too. If you'd like to make an app with that, you can do that too for whatever app you're trying to make, whether that's fitness related, whether that's health related, whether that's related to your work or your workload at home, productivity, anything related to that. You can ask for these small changes that may seem insignificant at first, but it really adds a lasting impact on the quality of your website if you're to make one with these AI tools that I'm recommending to you guys. So yeah, this is a really nice tool and website that Base44 was able to make for us, and I think it's probably the #1 app or #1 website that was able to outperform Claude in terms of making this app, which is pretty nice. Of course, Claude is also good for more sophisticated apps, I'd say. So if you want to create more sophisticated apps, I recommend going on Claude and asking it there. But then again, you'd have to pay for or upgrade your plan, which is sometimes not ideal. Now let's look at another app, which is our AI tool that is V0, which is just Vercel. You can just look up Vercel, and then you'll see, okay, it's not that one, I think it's Vercel AI, or actually maybe it is this one. Yeah, it is. Okay, so you just have to go to here, vercel.com, and then you'll eventually get to this page once you log in, and you can see this is a little bit more complex, right? This is a lot of information here. Like if you're someone who it gets overwhelmed with too much information or not too familiar with technology, this is too much. But I like how they have this, right? Try the Calm demo, see how it works. Okay, so let's see how it works first of all. So pick one thing to do, answer one question at a time, review then send. Okay, interesting. There's too much information. Look, this is ridiculous how much information that V0 provided us, Vercel provided us. They also have this comfort settings, which is also kind of cool, but we can't really do anything here. We didn't. There's no interactive part of this. Yeah, open the Calm demo. Let's see. So okay, so this is very a lot of information here. Like this focus flow that Vercel made is too complicated, too much information here. So the nice thing about this is that AI is never gonna get what you're saying or you're trying to prompt it on the first attempt. Usually it's not, right? The closest thing that we wanted was base 44, right? This was very nice. This is very simple to use. I'm pretty sure like anyone, even a toddler, can use this, right? But if for example you don't like something about this, right? Maybe you don't like the font of this, you can always ask it, right? And there's free credits. All these are free, by the way. Claude, Lovable, Base 44, V0, and the next one I'm going to show you, which is Bolt. They're all free. And so if you want to use them for whatever purposes that you'd like, to create an app, to create a website, to create any tool, even maybe an extension, if you want to create a Chrome extension, then you can try that too. But yeah, this is completely free, so anyone can use this. And just looking at this website, it's decent, but we always want to make changes, right? So we can always ask a follow-up. In this case, I'm not going to, just for the sake of time, but this is, I like how they made the website, but there's always room for improvement. And then finally, we have Bolt. So we post same prompt like the usual, and I'm not exactly sure where the website is, which Bolt seems to have gate kept the information. So let me actually reload this. And then this Bolt actually took the longest. So if you want something very quick and easy, just use Claude or Lovable or even Base 44. Base 44 is amazing. But if you want something like that takes time, this is it. This took a long time. Now it looks like your preview will appear, so it looks like it's gonna take some time. You can even share it with other people. But where's the website? So let's actually prompt it. Where's the website? Because all I see is a blank screen, right? Which is a little ridiculous. So let's actually open preview in a separate tab. Maybe it's gonna show up. Made in Bolt. So yeah, certain websites, if you were to create with Claude or not Claude, if you were to use with Lovable or Base 44 or this one right here, Bolt, they usually have this type of watermark, I'd say, where they just show that it's made with Bolt or it's made with Lovable or it's made with Base 44, so that other people can use that too. That's what they do with Wix. Now Wix is very expensive if you were to use it. Wix, they say it's free, but then you need to start a free trial, and that can go a long way, right? Maybe you start liking it and then the prices go up, right? You don't want to pay for a subscription here, because although Wix is nice, it's very interactive, you can change it very easily. It's no different from using something cheaper and free like Base 44 and Lovable. And so let's actually see if Bolt, okay, so Bolt seems like it's having some problems. Yeah, so I'm gonna need to contact Bolt themselves, because this never happened before. I've actually used Bolt before for other applications, like for creating websites for clubs and all that, and I've never had this problem. So if you're to use Bolt, maybe, and if you ever to get this problem, then maybe you can go ahead and go to code and then just copy and paste, or you could probably upload it to GitHub right here, connect project to GitHub, and then launch it from there. Depending on the type of website. If you're using like this type, I'm pretty sure you could use npm run dev, which is the command. So let's actually run it right here. Oh, see, so now I ran the command, and it's localhost at 5173. So that means that I need to go to localhost 5173, which it doesn't even load. So that means that you'd have to run this on VS Code, which is a separate tool that you guys can use for code editing. Basically how it works is that you take all this code, copy and paste all this code, or what you can do easier is connect the project to GitHub, and then when you connect it to GitHub, which is an app for basically having a repo, once you connect it to GitHub, you can go onto Visual Studio Code, download it, and then connect your Visual Studio Code to GitHub, and then after that you can go and open the folder where you have all this code here, put it into the VS Code, and then in the terminal you would run npm run dev, and then it'll run it right here. So let me actually see, does this work? So yeah, it doesn't work, which means that you would have to run it on your VS Code. So that's something you guys can do if you ever get a problem like this. You can always prompt Bolt. Seems like Bolt isn't working right now. I'm not sure what is going on right here, but anyways, that kind of concludes the video. I just wanted to show you guys some tools that you guys can use for app development if you guys are interested in creating apps. I'm pretty sure for some of these you guys can even create apps like in the App Store, and that can be helpful if you want to create something to share with friends. Just note that if you were to create an app in the App Store, it does cost $100 to join an app developer program, and then after that, after you pay for that, then you can actually create apps and then launch it and publish it. And if you guys are ever interested, these are all free, by the way. Like I mentioned, for the 50th time, all free. So Claude, Lovable, Base 44, V0, and Bolt, which Bolt is having some issues here. I will contact them after this video to see why is this happening. But yeah, all these are completely free to use, and I highly recommend it if you're gonna try to create just something productive, right? Something that can ease up tension, whether that's problems with productivity, time management, right? You can even create like your own Pomodoro timer here. You can even create a custom alarm clock. There's so many things in the world that you can create. You just need to identify a problem in your life, and then describe that problem to Claude, to Lovable, to Base 44, etc., and then it'll create the app for you, the perfect app that's customized towards your needs and towards your wants. So I hope you guys find this video helpful, and hope to see you guys later.